going to explain from the very first paragraph of page number 75. It says, "Not a very neat job," conceded Jackson. As you guys all know that in previous paragraph, the policeman put microphone in Ivan's cell in order to keep eye on him, and each the putting of microphone should be done very clearly and neatly, but unluckily Evans knew that and told Jackson, "Why you guys have to do that?" And Jackson agreed and said they have not done a neat job. And Evans asked Jackson that, "Are you guys thought that I'm going to escape from the cell?" And, and Jackson proudly answered that no one in this cell will take chance with you. No one in this cell will take you easily. So even asked, then who's going to listen to the microphone that they have bugged in his cell? And Jackson told him that the microphone will be listened by the governor, and because the governor also don't trust Evans, and Jackson obviously don't trust him too. And Jackson told him that he will be watching Evans like a hawk. Hawk is a bird who stares at his prey very strictly in order to catch him easily and quickly. So Jackson told him, "I will be watching you like a hawk, watching Evans like a hawk," and told him, "Keep your nose clean." And told Evans to keep his nose clean. Here, keep your nose clean means to stay out of trouble. And while Jackson walked towards the cell door, and Evans nodded and said, "Okay, I got it." And Evans already thought of that, and this kind of things will happen. And then he picked up his second handkerchief, which was lying folded neatly on his bed, and the handkerchief was made of linen. Linen is a type of fabric which is made in industries, kind of use. It is mainly used to make jeans and kind of that fabrics. And Jackson teased Evans by calling him Einstein. Said, and I have one more thing to say. Said the Jackson to Evans, and Evans asked him, "What's that one thing?" And Jackson said, "Good luck for you. Good luck to Evans for his exam." And after that, in prisoner's main gate, Reverend S. McLary signed his name neatly in visitor's book. As usual in prison, if we are going to meet a prisoner, then we have to sign in visitor's book. Like that, Reverend S. McLary also signed on that visitor's book, and then McLary walked silent with a prison officer from exercise yard to Dewing. Here, Dewing is a block where Evans was kept. In cell, in the cell, there were different types of block, and but Evans was in Dewing block. So they walked towards the Dewing block, and there McLary was greeted by Jackson. There, McLary met Jackson, and then the Dewing block's door was unlocked. Again, there was a new door of Dewing block itself, and they entered, and the door was locked again after they entered in Dewing. Then Stephen was told to keep eye on McLary. Here, Stephen is a newly joined police officer who is a junior, uh, and Jackson is senior. So Jackson told Stephen to keep eye on McLary, and Jackson asked Stephen also that did he got the razor from Evans in a very low voice, and Stephen said, "Yes, I got." He got the razor. Then and Jackson ordered him to be alert, and Stephen also nodded Okay, sir. While Magley was going upstairs, clanking sound was produced because stairs were made of iron and his soul was so hard that it created clanging sound. McLary followed Stephen, his new guide, and finally they reached the door. Stevens opened the peephole. Here, peephole means a small hole made on cell door or the keyhole. You can call the keyhole. And he opened the peephole and looked inside and told McLary that this is the guy who is going to conduct exam. He pointed. He showed. Stephen showed Evans to McLary and told him that this is the guy who is going to take the uh, exam of O level. So here ends my paragraph. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm going to explain paragraph 3 and paragraph 4. Evans, facing the door, sat quietly at the farther of the two tables, his whole attention riveted to a textbook of elementary German grammar. Stephens took the key from its ring and the cell lock sprang back with a thudded metallic twang. Evans was sitting quietly, facing the door, slightly away from two tables. He was concentrating on the elementary German grammar. Stephen took one of the keys from the ring and opened the lock. The lock of the cell made a ringing sound after it sprung up. It was 9:10 a.m. when the governor switched on the receiver. He had instructed Jackson to tell Evans of the temporary little precaution. That was only fair, as if Evans wouldn't spot it. But wasn't it all a bit theatrical? Schoolboyish almost. How on earth was Evans going to try anything on the day? If he was so anxious to make another break, why in heaven's name hadn't he tried it from the recreational block? Much easier, but he hadn't, and there he was now, sitting in a locked cell, all the prison officers on the alert. Two more locked doors between his cell and a yard with a wall as high as haystack. Yes, Evans was as safe as house. It was 9:10 a.m. when the governor switched on the receiver of the microphone. He ordered Jackson to tell Evans to be careful as they had installed a microphone in his cell. He thought that it would be good to forewarn him. He said in a way as though Evans would never be able to spot it. A thought came to the governor's mind that all this seemed like a theatrical drama and all their preparations were like those done by schoolboys. He thought that how could Evan think of escaping that day? He could have tried it when he was at the recreational block because it was easier to escape from there, but today he was locked in his cell. All the officers were closely watching him. There were two doors between his cell and the yard. There were walls as high as piles of dry grass. Yes, Evans was totally safe now. Anyways, it wouldn't be any trouble at all to have the receiver turned on for the next couple of hours or so. It wasn't as if there's going to be anything to listen to, was it? Amongst other things, an invigilator's duty was to ensure that the strictest silence was observed, but still that little nagging doubt. Might Evans try to take advantage of McLary, get him to smuggle in a chisel or two, or a rope ladder, or... The governor thought that there would be no problem if he keeps the receiver switched on, although he knew that there was nothing to listen to because it was the duty of the supervisor to maintain silence. But he was still in doubt. He was worried about Evans taking undue advantage of McLary. He could have smuggled him to take long-bladed hand tool or a rope ladder. The governor sat up sharply. It was all very well getting rid of any potential weapons that Evans could have used, but what about McLary? What if, quite unwittingly, the innocent McLary had brought in something himself, a jackknife perhaps, and what if Evans held him hostage with such a weapon? The governor at once got alert. He thought that they had taken away all the possible weapons from Evans. But there were chances that McLeary could have brought some weapons unknowingly with him, such as a jackknife, which is a large knife with a folding blade. Even Evans could hold him captive for forcing the prison officers to release him.
Hello everyone, I'm explaining paragraph 5 and paragraph 6 on uh, the governor picked up the phone. It was 9:12 a.m. The exam and invigilator or supervisor already been introduced by Stephen, and Jackson at the cell door shouted at Stephen, can you come outside a minute, sir? You to Stephen. Jackson quickly explained the governor's worries to McLeary, and McLeary patiently held out his arm at shoulder level with Jackson lightly checked his cloth. Something hurt here, sir. McLeary looking down at his spectacle case. My reading glass, McLeary replied. Jackson quickly checked for his suitcase. He checked each of his envelope and Holy Bible pages. Alright so far, but one of the objects in McLeary's suitcase was puzzling him. Jackson said, do you mind telling me why you bought this, sir? Jackson held up a smallish, semi-inflated rubber ring, such as a young child with a waist of 12 inches might have struggling into it. You thinking of going in for a swim, sir? Jackson said, McLeary being uncomfortable by his unpleasant job, and he answered to Jackson, if you must know, I suffer from hemorrhoid, and when I'm sitting down for a length of time. Jackson, very sorry, sir, I didn't mean to. The embarrassment was still rendering Jackson's cheeks when he found the paper knife at the bottom of the case. I think I better keep this though, if you don't mind, sir. That is, sir.
It was at 9:80 a.m. before the governor heard the revises again, and it was clear that the examination was going to be more than a little late in getting underway. And the governor ani chu let chen ba ni how res ni the maglere de ni iksutan ye res in even let de ni prisoners stress in the la thande ani Stephen Latcher res ani maglere da Stephen kuni kana na ani iksutan ye do da ani ni even let kala na ni prisoners stress so much the conversation to res and maglere kala na you have got a watch la da ni on the even kala na yes that ani choose you and choose you and I'll be telling you when to start and again like when you have a 5 minute left. Alright, Magdalene ni kala ani katuku jela go ni kyo kamanga la dinge la go la tigre and Magdalene kala na tisila ani there's a plenty more of these writing papers you need it let the ani the piece should the toilet to and kyo go and this something like ani Maglari Kala. Now let's write the name of the paper any 021/1 in the top left hand corner. That kiranga che paper was ming tiller and only kalana 021/1 the any cardinal and the lawa ni yun chowachi and the ganga the corner the trailer. This is silence chat and this is kalana Maglari. In the top right hand corner, write your in-text number 313. And in the box just below that write your center number 271 or rider and this is color na ni maglori ani lakwa ya ye josh lakwa ya chi ta kanga ni kon la khatila na khira ngachi ni index number de khala na sum la don de chi la ra and this la and the wall the box is on la khatila na center number de khala na 271 is and this is something there and this it was at 9:20 a.m. and McLaren khalana I'm going to lada ni kimas tanga khidishire lada interrupt switch and even killer he is not going to stay here is he and tadela khudi de marvel khudi de rebel the two good yo and McLaren khalana I don't know about that I lada khalana tadi nga ho me lada in kimas Stephen khalana Mr. Johnson gave me a strict instruction to and you must Stephen in the prisoners tiny roads and cooking kalana Mr. Jackson lady colors no colony instruction in the Tony Bush was Dr. Helen evening kalana how am I supposed to concentrate on my exam with someone breathing down my neck and Chrysler and sorry sir I didn't mean that and cookie tanga using 100 mouth constitution and candidate who really exist on the Michi the Korandu Jimba Gana Niko Jimba on ma and the Udang Yushara and one ma candidate or railers sorry seller and need Minchi mailers and there's a calendar government rich for a founder and there's a the conversation sama ni government ku ni thong how good is and government ke phone dan and Jackson and good get Stephen out of that cell will you I think we are perhaps overdoing things and Colin Jason at the daily Miyama Stephen goes Yamagatang Midlani Jackson Rani Stephen the Anita said in my attention roller in bed and this institution and overdoing chidos and Jackson got an SUV seller and Gorman heard the exchange in the sale and heard the door clang once more and heard the McLaren announced that the examination had begun in last year and the government law and kind of government to kara the colon somehow called and then the kuzu the sell the exchange chart and then draw a clash leader to go ya chain komaya and once more hard series and the jail tadu and colon and McLaren and the examination did start showing announce strategy announce you didn't said as you could have race and it was 9:25 a.m. and there was a great calm until something to the rest at 9:40 a.m. the examination board rang through and the assistant secretary with the special responsible for the modern language asked to speak to the government. This is aim simple. He said a board rank series and on the Yamdoni assistant secretary on the calendar modern language kajita tiny road dress and on the assistant secretary any color cardlana governing him sketches speak chain and two good and then the examination had already started, no doubt, the quarter of an hour ago, and yes, well, there was a correction slip which some fool had forgotten to place in the examination package. That very brief letter, the color that he said that Kozuza's and on the Tom those and the should check on the the kuzugoji any dela any correction slip la shodra one day any time music in the any examination package na malune the ni that forgot chisha to such a place the examination package na loom those da one day ni tembaje do the and me kubaji chido and give us could the government please and say government can know what you do and the government can yes, of course, I will put you the straight through to the Mr. Jackson in the D-Wangler. The D-Wangler, the Rani Kajilana, yes, of course, the Rani Kuzuki, Kwamung, Sudan, and Mr. Jackson in the D-Wangler, and hold all line minute line the dollar and it
Governor got confusion and fear whether it can be fake or some secret message. So he immediately called it again, but unfortunately the line is engaged. After the 2 minutes later, he heard some whispering communication in the cell. McLary said, "Listen carefully," and its candidate offering a German 021-1 should be written on the page correctly, and page 3 read golden, not golden, and the whole page will therefore read some golden, non Lowen, not some golden. The governor listened and smiled, and he did flashback of his German in the sixth, remembering all about the agreement of adjective. And also McLary did same to Ewan. The phone rang again, the magistrate court, and they needed to prison when, and couple of the prison officers remained case within the 2 minutes. The governor was wondering whether that could be a joke, and he told himself not to be so silly. This imagination was beginning to run right.
So my paragraph is this, and I hope you all read this chapter. And in this paragraph, the exam has finally begun,